Kia ora and welcome to Resett TV Talk. My name is Farhana and I'll be your host for today. Joining me today, I have Hekmat from the Afghan Association of New Zealand. He is currently the chairperson of the association, and we're going to be talking about his position as a leader amongst his community, some of the challenges he's faced, and his journey to New Zealand. Today's interview is going to be broken down into about 3 parts. So first, we'll start talking about your journey to New Zealand, Hekmat, and some of the impressions or difficulties that you had settling in. The second part, we'll talk about the Afghan Association of New Zealand, how long you've been around, the work you do, and some of the projects you have currently running. And then the last part, we'll talk about the challenges that you think your community is facing and how you're going to go about solving those. So welcome, Hekmat. It's lovely to have you with us today.
No, thank you very much. Thanks for having me, giving me the opportunity to come and talk about myself and also my community, my association. Thanks a lot.
Pleasure. Okay, let's start with your personal journey. How did you get to New Zealand? What is...
I came as a refugee back in 2002, having my uncle here first, after Taliban took over for the first time, then being sponsored by him, came in with my brothers here. So that's about 22 years from now.
Mm.
A long journey of obviously had to move from different place to different place. Being first moved into Pakistan for a while and then stay there, come to New Zealand.
Yeah. And your parents' family still back home?
My cousins and my relatives are still there. Parents passed away.
Oh, sorry to hear that. Okay, so when you got here, I mean, the refugee community at that point probably couldn't have been very big. What were your first impressions?
Yeah, and I felt coming from a very crowded place, especially South Asia and Afghanistan, we always like big communities there. Finding myself among very few numbers here.
Yeah.
So it was difficult, very difficult to find coming and missing all your close friends, family, and then having a very small community here. Back then, it was like we could pretty much name each other how many we were here.
Language barrier probably also.
Oh, yeah. No, there was obviously a very language barrier, culture barrier. Starting with completely different life, different environment.
Mm. So what kind of support was available to you when you first came?
In terms of it was just on personal basis, it was my uncle, which was good point, where we had a house to live. We were introduced to the city, found our place around in terms of the shoppings and stuff.
Yeah.
In terms of the education and stuff, we were at that age that I couldn't go to school or university. So in terms of the language barrier, there was not much of this. Luckily, I had a bit of English study back while I was waiting coming here.
Okay.
Otherwise, in terms of the community, there was just very minimum support.
And in terms of government, like in terms of resettlement, was the main resettlement center open then, running?
I think it started just after us, maybe. I think from memory, I think it was different. Before there wasn't that kind of arrangement, but we didn't go through that.
So there's more community-focused approach?
More community, yeah. And also because we had a family, so we went straight to family. And I think the community at that center was open around that time, and we had some friends, especially that, if you remember the Tampa, that ship that guys came in and towards, I think they got stuck in the sea and that was the word, I think, months after us.
Yeah.
And we had some big number of Afghan community members came in through that. And I remember going to the Mangere station, refugee center.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I remember that refugee center was there, but we didn't
came on afterwards. And right now the Afghan community is quite spread out nationally, or just a lot of them still in Auckland?
No, I mean, it's still focused in Auckland, majority here, but I think we have community members in Wellington, and Christchurch is a big one.
Okay.
I think now we hear especially from the Mangri Center. They're trying to focus moving people towards Ashford.
Yeah, South Island.
Yeah, South Island, and also we got relatively okay community members in Hamilton.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's been spread out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good. So the association has been around for many years.
Yeah, I remember when I first came in, I think it was already there.
Yeah?
Yeah, but I think it started about maybe 2-3 years before us.
Okay.
Very few numbers. The elders were there. I think initially it started to support one of our Afghan community member. We started there.
Okay.
I think it got registered a bit late after a couple of years, but I think the community was still there because they were organizing like events and gatherings.
Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit more about the association in terms of what kind of services they offer the community?
It's mainly, I think we have a wide range of kind of services, starting from, say, helping government agencies in terms of, say, for example, we help Immigration New Zealand. We work with New Zealand Police. We also work with, say, for local schools. Apart from that, we work among our communities in terms of like, keeping the community informed in terms of like informing them in terms of like if there's a funeral, stuff like this, like that system.
Yep.
And then we do have like regular events, especially like say Eid events and Independence Day or New Year celebrations.
Yep.
And we have a range of other activities for youngsters, especially in terms of sports. We have like regular basis. We have volleyball tournaments. We have cricket tournaments, and also we're just starting some sort of badminton tournaments. So we do have a range of stuff that we do.
That's kind of okay. And in terms of your leadership, what made you want to step into that position in your community? Was it a defining moment, something that you wanted to see change?
Yeah, and I think it always comes to personal choice. Or normally, like personally, you feel to work or help community. But I think there were a couple of moments where I and my other friends, we joined in our elders because the community was basically run by some elders who we saw them like cleaning town halls after the event was finished. So we didn't like it. They're doing the work.
Yeah.
So we started doing that. Pretty much like as unofficial member, volunteers. But I think with the clicking moment was when we had a Afghanistan team and came in here for cricket 2015, I think, in Napier. And that was a clicking moment that we joined. Me and my couple of other friends, we went and we put our hands up and say we want to join in.
Be involved.
Yeah, more involved.
Okay. What strategies do you use to foster unity amongst your organized community? I know it's really hard coming from different countries, different culture, keeping that unity amongst people. What kind of strategies do you use?
Sorry. In terms of the strategy, I think we're trying to be as neutral as we can because race-wise, we have different races in our within our community, and unfortunately, to some extent, there are some divisions in our community, and also being spread out through Auckland doesn't help sometimes because you can't really focus and say, for example, if we are taking and celebrating an Eid event, we're trying to be more centralized and put it in, select a hall where that's close to each other, close to the majority of the people around. Unfortunately, we cannot reach
everyone. Yeah.
So we try our best to keep it as central as we can. Our events are pretty much we have people from our community members from each race. In terms of if we advertise, for example, we use all the languages within our community.
And you're quite active on social media, and is that how you primarily communicate with?
Yeah. Now, when past it used to be quite an old way of informing, keeping the community informed. When the new, I will still call it new generation, when me and my other friends, when 2015 we joined, and we focused on kind of updating our community system and how we keep everyone informed.
Yeah.
So we started with a database of collecting everyone numbers
Yeah.
and putting it together. And then we produced what we call a mass
Mailing list. Yeah.
text systems, like texting everyone.
Yeah.
So if one of our members has passed away, we just could take our one cell phone and spread the news to everyone.
Yeah.
We started from there, and then I think we focused on social media because there was Facebook and Twitter, and WhatsApp was very new, but we started with Facebook, and now we're pretty much using WhatsApp as a mean of communication. We have at least, I think, up to 600 numbers.
Oh, wow.
From throughout New Zealand that we spread the news.
Oh, wow.
Within a second, we just let everyone know if there's anything important.
That's impressive. Very well organized. One thing that interests me also with these kind of communities is a generation gap. So you've got a lot of older people, then you've got the younger people trying to come in and sort of change things up. How do you manage that?
Yeah, we understand this. We understand it. We take it seriously, and I think there's, you mentioned, like, is a generation in terms of the age, and there's another gap where we come from a different environment, and these kids growing up here, they have a different skills, different experience. There's that gap too. The values sometimes, like, we have from our age or our generation, not necessarily been transferred.
Yes.
Or understood, or maybe I would say not valued as we do. Say the political background we have, or the race background we have, that's a gap. Some, like, in some instances you can call it as advantage, because these kids growing up here, they don't bring those kind of divisions among them.
Yeah.
But on a negative side, you see that there's a huge gap created in terms of the language barrier, or in terms of that cohesion normally we have, or the celebration. To tackle that one, I think what we come up, like, and we actively working on it. We, in our current ACO, for example, we have 13 members. Out of those 13, I would say 9 of them are either studied here, grown up here.
Okay. Yeah.
So the majority are youngsters. Majority of them, they're under 30s.
Okay.
Yeah, they active roles. So, for example, if I see one of my member, he's Ubaid, he's grown up, he studied here, and he's under 30, and he's currently acting as a secretary.
Okay.
Yeah, so we want to pass on this responsibility.
As it's like here.
Yeah. Get them more involved. When we have, say, for example, an event, we normally give them the responsibility to come and take. Yeah. So in the last, say, I would say 10, 11 years, we managed to narrow that gap, but the gap is still there.
Yeah.
It's still a lot of work need to be done.
I'm going to ask a difficult question now. What about girls, women? Is there any sort of role that they play in the organization, or?
That was that's still a challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is quite a big challenge. We have events that they are self-managed. They manage their whole event for them. We had like regular sewing classes, like back in a few years ago, was happening regularly.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I mean, this is still a challenge, that to bring women and take the responsibility, and being an AC member, active AC member, we found it challenging.
Yeah. Well, they have much more responsibilities, I guess.
Yeah. In terms towards the family, they have responsibility. We tried to create a group within ourselves that they could manage, but they still, I mean, in terms of the volunteer group, they have a group that when we have an event, they manage the whole thing.
Okay. They'll probably increase next generation.
Yeah.
Definitely.
For example, when we had some leadership courses or leadership workshops that we invited our women or girls members to come and talk about themselves, how they manage, what they're doing now, and just a kind of a form of encouragement for them to come on stage and talk to us.
Get more involved. Yeah. Okay. Sounds amazing. So that was really interesting learning about your background and how you got to this country. In the next part, we're going to talk more about the problems that the community is facing. Welcome back to the next part of this interview. We're going to be talking a little bit about community challenges that you are facing. Can you tell me what are the most significant challenges facing your community today?
I think in terms of the logistics, I think that's the main one. We're facing logistically, we as I mentioned, like we can't find a central place that we can bring everyone together.
Yeah.
In terms of like, getting everyone involved, because since we have, as you mentioned at the start, we have refugees coming from, say, 20, 35 years constantly coming. And they bring different skill, different experience with them. And for us, one of the challenges to reach them individually and trying to introduce ourselves and get them involved. Recently, what we, in terms of, if I go on solution on that one, what we did was we approached the Mangrove Center, for example. And we said, okay, this is the good point that we can start introducing ourselves and especially the association.
Yeah.
And then, fortunately, what happened, we had events coming in. We had events like, say, for example, we had Eid event, one of the Eid events, and they facilitated that transport. We had like 100, close to 200 members.
Mm.
We took them to our event. And for them, there was one of the stepping, like first step, introduction, knowing their community, and they were so pleased to see so many of their own members.
Somebody here.
Yeah, and so that was one of, I think we constantly doing that. We have regular visits to the center. We have at least 2 or 3 of our members going there quite on a regular basis. We also we speak to them in terms of if they have any issues. For example, some members, they come in, they want to stay in Auckland, while initially they accepted other cities. So the center comes in and they say, we have some families that they resist going different location because they feel somehow lonely, or could you guys come in and talk to their own language, in terms of like fluent language, and just share your experiences. And we had some good good examples that we went there, we talked to them, and they resolved that issue, and they
almost like mediators.
Yeah, kind of mediators. And we like explained it to them, because the way community work, our community normally work is like the words of mouth, they spread quite easily. And some of them, they are either misinformed or they hear from a wrong person at the wrong time about housing, or about saying, if you go to that city, you won't find any, say, for example, a halal place to buy food from. And then we go in, we kind of explain and say that it's not how it is. And also, we also let them know that if Immigration New Zealand is agreeing on, because they work towards how much capacity they have. And if everyone congregate in Auckland, stay in here, then those they won't be able to reach those.
It puts a strain on resources,
services and stuff.
Talking about resettlement areas, I know there's a few in the South Island and North Island, and we talked about putting a strain on resources on this side. What has been the general sort of feedback from people that are resettling in South Island? It's been a very isolating experience. Is there a lot of support available for them there?
Obviously, the initial ones who went there first, I think their feedback wasn't very positive, I would say. But more families moving in, because in terms of the climate-wise, South Island is very close to what we have in Afghanistan.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Climate-wise, it's like you're as a replicate of that.
Yeah.
So in terms of like environment, of course they'll find themselves a bit lonely. But as more of them move in, I think that they'll create a community. What we had like in past, there was a case where one of the family members, our family came in, and one of the boys were playing soccer. And he had issues saying, if I go move into Ashburton, what's going to happen? Could I find any club? And reassuring them this year, there will always be clubs, there will be school teams.
Yeah.
So that they listen to us, and I think that's a positive kind of result.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have, they will find it challenging. because remember, we're coming from a very huge communities. We have thousands and thousands living together, and
Extended families.
quite extended families.
Yes.
And then you're isolating them within 4 or 5 families. They will still find themselves lost.
Very hard.
Yeah.
Given that a lot of people obviously coming in as refugees and the current situation in Afghanistan, there's obviously a lot of probably trauma, mental health issues that people are facing. How do you as a community sort of support those people?
One of the issues we have is like it is within our community that we keep things to ourselves. So we're not open. And even if you have a mental issue or say a family issue, it's more they will keep it to themselves. And unfortunately, I think you'll find New Zealand health system that you'll struggle to find that kind of go and find out the real cause of the issue.
Ask for help.
Ask for help, yeah. Just give you a more practical example, is like we have workshops coming in, and maybe 2 or 3 weeks from now, from South Asia. I'll give you the proper name. We will run workshops for Afghan men, family men, because men what they believe is like also part of the family. They will find it more challenging.
Yes,
bringing their kids, because the way our community work is like majority responsibilities on men.
Yeah,
they will take it as a run. They look after the family, and they say, okay, while there is support for women part or mothers, let's have something for fathers as well. So there will be a series of workshops. I can give you more details of that. We have just advertised, or we send notice to our community. We encourage our fathers to come forward and
does that focus on mental health?
It's more mental health.
Yeah,
it's specifically more mental health. So the workshop name, I'll just go read it now. It's a healthy family relationship.
Oh,
it's a workshop that's going to be running from the 3rd of November till 15th of December.
Once a week.
Once a week, yeah.
Yep.
And Dr. Wahid Mumtaz, he's a PhD in psychology and specialist in healthy family relationships.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give you a bit more on this one.
Yeah, no, that's amazing, because a lot of our communities tend to have those conversations, especially amongst men.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just deal with it or sweep it under the rug.
Yeah.
They'll be all right.
So to come back to your question, I mean, to be more, give you a kind of a very latest example of what we're doing in terms of the mental. We have this workshops going, starting from the 3rd of November. It's going to be running every week until I think it's mid-December. We are targeting a small group at this stage, because the Dr. Wahid Mumtaz is our specialist who's going to be coming and talking to us.
Okay.
Workshop will be running under healthy family relationships, mainly to do with the family issues among the family, bringing up kids here, what challenges they might face, what they should be prepared for, and how to deal with, for example, a sudden change. It's just for men only at this stage, because the South Asia, there's a trial project at this stage.
Okay.
And once we have a bit of success, we will try to focus bigger groups
And expand it.
Expand it more.
Okay.
And I look forward, because I personally went and attended the initial meeting with them.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you feel it's okay. What will we be discussing? And to have a sense of it, you need to talk. And the specialist, I stayed there for half an hour, and some of the experiences or some of the materials he was discussing, it was very new for me.
Yeah.
So I'm keen as well. Yeah, but I will encourage especially the newcomers, I will encourage them to come and attend. Yeah.
Sounds good. How do you as a community navigate the legal challenges like visas, family reunification? Is that still a major issue for the community?
It is a major issue, especially with this political situation in Afghanistan. Visas, passports, they struggle to renew them, to get the new one or extend the expiry date.
Yep.
Our community, we also provide them supporting letters. We have a mechanism that we have if someone is applying for a visa for partners, they come and talk to us. We verify their relationship to our best.
Yes.
And we ask our community members, for example, their cousins or their friends, and we kind of giving our feedback to New Zealand immigration that yes, we know this member is he had a because one of the challenges, for example, if someone is getting married and he could not go back home and have a ceremony there, we can put in words and say explain what's happening, why this guy could not go. Otherwise, Immigration New Zealand will have a policy saying, okay, you have to spend at least a year with your partner before your visa is getting granted. So on a regular basis, we issue, I would say, not to be very specific, we issue hundreds of letters, supporting letters.
And how has Immigration New Zealand been? Have they been quite supportive, understanding that cultural differences between your community?
It's getting better.
And the New Zealand sort of lifestyle here?
It is getting better. The understanding of our culture is getting better day by day, because I think they have their own translators and advisors within their organization, and also us helping them.
Yeah,
it's getting better. It used to be quite challenging because what they were having, say for example, they would have a person for example, slightly different race or different country, and they will raise questions in terms of how the ceremony of wedding has been held.
They know nothing about. Yeah.
A prime example was because bride back home, she will cry when they leave the parents' home.
Yes, tell me.
And that was translated as a forced marriage.
Oh gosh. Oh, that's quite funny.
Examples like that, yeah.
Earlier on, we spoke about some of the challenges you have in terms of education in your for the younger generation. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? What's the current landscape as compared to Afghanistan?
Yeah, no, I will tell my own personal experience. I studied back there till year 12, because that's the school system is. And then from year 12, you have to go through, not similar to NCAA, but more Cambridge type of examination process that you can go through the universities. So I studied there, my high school finished here, came in here, had at least 5 years break before I navigate myself through a system and find my way, because majority of my school documents were not accepted here, they were not up to standard. So, and I had a personal kind of a fear or assumption that I, coming from that different kind of education system, I won't be able to even go and study. But that I went through a couple of courses trying to see myself and see if I can manage. I found system in New Zealand quite supportive, very, very supportive, that I couldn't believe.
Okay.
And the way the assessment or assignment system was working, and the way the examination system was working. And because back home, there is a bit of more tendency towards final year exam. Regardless what you do throughout the year, it's comes to the last day. While over here, I found no, it doesn't matter. If you do well throughout the course, you can pass your coursework, you can set exam, and you can still achieve pass. That's more towards the higher education. In terms of the school, our system back home is more towards European style system, which is again focused on end of the year exam. If you pass, you go to the next grade. Otherwise, stay back. See, over here, New Zealand system is more towards try your best, try to get best mark and go to next grade.
Yeah, they don't really hold people back.
Yeah. And my son going to school, and I was saying, when is your exam? He said, oh, Dad, I don't have any exam.
What exam? Well, yeah, especially primary school, isn't it? Yeah. It's quite...
And I found it it shouldn't be like this, because he need to be challenged. He need to, otherwise what makes him study?
Yeah.
So I understand the same situation each parents will have. They don't I've come across to families who don't understand their marking at the end of the year. They won't understand what level their beginning is. Is his son or daughter is the beginning level, or is he doing so much good?
Yeah.
In terms of is he excellence, or what this award means, what the certificate means. So I still see that maybe within our community, that's still a challenge.
Misunderstanding.
Quite misunderstanding. They could not read their final year
Boards, yeah.
reports and stuff. They could not translate. Because I've seen some members coming to me say, "Oh, can you help? Look, how is my son doing?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of challenges, once again, it's really hard for people from different countries, languages, to find work, sometimes experience a little bit of systematic racism. Do you find that quite common amongst your community? Do you manage to overcome that?
Different culture, they will say, because for me it's like 22 years now. I found like my culture being highly respected. Say, for example, my colleagues.
Yeah.
They will respect my prayer time. They will respect my, say, for example, if I'm fasting from Ramadan fast. Even my, say, for example, one of my lecturers, she was, the break she managed, she adjusted in a way that I could go at that break and have my prayer.
Yeah.
A good thing was she was from South Africa. She had the experience of being more Muslim.
Yeah, we South Africans are pretty cool.
Yeah. And she was, and I didn't notice at the start. And then she came into me saying, we're not having break now. We will have break in 15 minutes because you have a very short window of praying. So, those examples, even like, say, my workplace, they would still allow me a little room for my prayer time.
Yeah.
For example, if I go on Friday, they will allow me to go have an hour break without question asked.
Yeah. It's good to hear this positive kind of.
A lot of positive.
Yeah.
In terms of, yes, in terms of the racism, I haven't personally experienced myself. Maybe a couple of occasions now and then. But that's the good thing with New Zealand. It's quite diverse, community.
Yeah.
Not to be very specific, I don't know if you guys want to record this, but the different cities got different
Dynamics.
Yeah. I went to South Island, was slightly different. I found it a bit different. Yeah. I won't blame you because they didn't have the exposure to this. But Auckland, each third person will be from somewhere else.
Yeah, it's very diverse. It's an amazing city. Yeah, so, well, it's been absolutely lovely chatting to you. Is there anything else you want to add to this conversation? You think that will be really important?
Yeah, in terms of this integration into a different country and different culture, I would say I'm involved in the community for the last 20 years, at least. The challenge never goes away. It changes shape, size, and probably the dimensions.
Yeah.
But the challenge still stay there because part of us, half of our mind and mindset is still from there. We still have our extended families there. We hear news, we hear political situations, we hear stuff from there. So those stuff will be with us and never goes away.
Yeah.
It probably will change. Even like new generation, I took my kids back home and they loved it. They didn't want to come back.
Really?
Things like this. I don't know. Because the situation there is different.
What did they love about it? That would be interesting.
It's more, I think it's more like less responsible over there. It's like you will, it's not a good example, but I would say you will have, over here you have to have 5 kids in the car. Everyone have seat belts.
Yeah.
Good thing. Safety, very important. Over there you will have, instead of 5, you will have 8 sitting together, having a laugh, no seat belts. But it's not a good example. It's just giving you a kind of a
carefree approach.
Slightly more, carefree, more freedom. They will have big crowds, like each gatherings or each dinner, they will have 20, 25 kids coming together. So for them, they was like full fun.
Yeah.
And it is, and they say, is it just today? And I say, this is every day. Yeah. And coming here, they find themselves lonely just by their parents. Because I didn't see them for days, you know.
Well,
Where's this guy? Oh, he's with cousins.
oh.
So those kind of, I mean, in terms of the child's mentality, they want that kind of freedom. Yeah. Another part, over here, even like, I didn't personally experience some sort of racism or stuff like this, but again, it's still a challenge.
Yeah.
Fully integrated.
Nothing beats being at home, isn't it?
One of that example, I don't know if you want to add it later, in terms of the education, I want to raise the police thing, because it's getting law enforcement agencies involved, especially in terms of the domestic violence. We had a couple of cases that we had to go and talk to the families, especially new arrivals, and discuss how, because we have a background of not involving police authorities. Yeah, it's more to do like family-based solutions. Parents get involved, cousins get involved.
Yep.
Engaging a police is kind of it's a shame for some families.
Yeah.
Over here, while there is resources there, they will not navigate. They will hesitate to stay until it's escalated to a point that there's no point of return.
Yeah.
So we encourage some families, saying, okay, that there is your privacy will be respected. So no issues. We had also discussed with New Zealand police how our reaction to the police are, and the good thing is they have our members, Afghan police, in their system now.
Yeah, okay.
They are running community cohesion groups and seminars and workshops when we come together. It's not just Afghan association.
Yeah.
They are involved everyone else, especially Asians, Fijians, and they have like community police where they have more understanding of cultures. They have a Muslim lady there. I don't know if you heard of her, Mariam.
I know Mariam.
And the good thing is they're closing that gap. They're acting as a bridge.
Yeah, they're doing some amazing work.
Very amazing work. Yeah. And she said, I said, you can solve it without even being involved.
Oh.
And she have very good cases that she said that she involved, being on through a back channel.
Yeah.
They managed to get some serious issues and resolved with an outside being to court.
Yeah.
Yeah. So stuff like that. I mean, it is a positive on the New Zealand police side that they understand and they respect and they're actively working on it. Mm-hmm. And also we tend to work within them because we invite New Zealand police to our events.
Yeah.
They come and talk about themselves. They encourage our youngsters to come and join the police, which is good. So those are one of the other challenges we face.
Yeah, it seems there's a good solution up ahead. Yeah. Open communication, yeah. Well, once again, thank you, Hekmat, for coming and joining me this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Much pleasure. I loved it. Thanks a lot. Thanks for giving me the chance to come and talk about my communities. And I'll acknowledge all my volunteers who are coming, and all youngsters. They're full-time workers, but they still come. And on behalf of them, I thank you guys.
Thank you, and I'm sure I'll see you soon.
Yeah.
One of the ARCC events.
Yeah, thank you.